Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today.
Welcome back, y'all.
We're always here for you, as you know.
Yeah, exactly, right?
So this week we're going to talk about something a little interesting, okay?
Yeah.
A little biblical, a little religious, a little spiritual.
Okay.
A little atheist, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
We're just going to hit some key points so that we can introduce some interesting facts that we ran into today.
Yeah.
So this is like, I think, this is a single event, I think, that changed history as we know it, of course, right? And we're talking about not just for spirituality and religion, but just mankind. Right.
And we're talking about the crucifixion of Jesus Christ.
Now, a lot of us, have the literal meanings that we put on the Bible.
Yeah.
Where it's like, all right, so the scripture says this is exactly what happened. And meanwhile, some other ones of us, are more so like, no, it's metaphorical.
Yeah, the Bible's a guide, right, that we use. And so this is metaphorical. This is something for us to take and make something out of it, right?
Right. To use, as a guide, like you say, to live life, right? The most righteous way we could be. And we see these different views and how
yeah, we do.
So I think it's interesting, and even for myself, I lean more towards the metaphorical meanings towards the Bible. But I still entertain the stories, so that I can get a better picture of what people really think, happened during those times.
Exactly. Because even if you just look at it as stories, there's life lessons in there as one should live their life. You know what I mean? Parables, revelation, whatever the case is. These are, when you think of the concept of nothing is new underneath the sun, people were going through the same thing we were going through way back in Jesus' time and even way before then, right? So it's like a classic tool that you could refer to back and over again. Yeah. But before we even dive into the crucifixion, y'all, of Jesus Christ,
was already diving.
I know we really were, but we're gonna stop y'all right there because I gotta send out some love to our supporters out there. We definitely appreciate you. Okay, go ahead and like and subscribe if you have not done so already. Okay,
thank you, y'all.
Yes. So back to the crucifixion, the thing that basically changed mankind, and it's not just Christianity, right? Because it's also dealing with other religions, like you said,
right.
Buddhism, whether it is Judaism, whether it's Muslim, right?
Yeah.
Because this is just the death of a God, right? His son, right?
Because there's differing views depending on which you
follow.
So
depending on the view, right? It could be a prophet, exactly, right? Yeah. Whether you look at him as a prophet, Jesus' son, a God, whatever, right? His death is the single-led event that changed mankind as we know it,
because it symbolic for Jesus dying on the cross, symbolic for dying for the population's sins and etc. And you could take the literal meaning of that and say, okay, so that's exactly what happened during those times. There was a guy and
he did great miracles. He walked on water, he fed the poor, right?
Okay.
And then they came and they tried to kill him for that.
They tried to kill homie just cause he was a good man.
So it honestly sounds ridiculous when you think about it like that, right? Well, maybe not so much, right? When someone coming out here saying, "Hey, I can cure y'all. We don't need medicine. We don't need this and that." People is gonna be like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa!
What you talking?" Like, I want to hear what you got to say at that point. So he probably really grasped their attention. But there's also an option to think more metaphorically, whereas, okay, so perhaps, because a lot of people are saying, all right, so perhaps Jesus Christ wasn't a person, but there's such a thing as Christ consciousness type thing.
Yeah.
Let's
dive into that a little bit, right?
Right, where it's more so like, it puts more like a storytelling to it. Like, no, that was just a story to kind of explain the concept of, what am I trying to say?
So basically the concept of if you would look at it like the journey to becoming a God.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? Like it's like the blueprint of that. So it's like if Jesus, let's go with us here, if this is not a real person, right? And it is just an idea or concept, then he is a blueprint that a lot of us can so follow, right? Because the idea was never for us to be Christians, but to be Christ-like.
Right.
If we're talking about Christ-conscious like, it's the fact that we all have the blueprint in us to do miracles, to walk in the way of God, and to walk, that lifestyle where we could be like, hey, back, like the power of words, like manifestation probably didn't exist back then, right? Because it was just speaking it into existence.
Right. And speaking of manifestation, so this idea of the crucifixion of Christ is saying that somebody didn't really die on the cross where they nailed them and everything.
Yeah, and a physical body, right?
Right. That didn't happen. It was more so like symbolic for what happened to us as a people, as a species.
Yeah.
Where basically we were crucified in terms of so there are certain energy centers in our body that's been shut down.
Yes.
And, crucified, where we're not able to use these abilities where we could use these energy centers for.
Wow. Okay. So the real crucifixion of not Jesus, but of
is what
people.
They say. Right.
Of the people, because now this concept is saying that we basically are cut off, or I guess being attempted to cut off, from our energy source through our hands, right, or chakra points.
Oh yeah, we were able to do more interdimensional things with our hands, manifest with just waving our hands, for example.
Yeah.
Imagine being able to be more instantaneous with the things that we want to come into fruition.
Yeah, no wands, no nothing, just the wave of the hand.
Yeah, so that's the, abilities that we lost because, it was crucified, I guess, this grid.
And it's interesting, because if we look at Jesus, right, and whether we're looking at him as the idea,
because he was performing miracles with his hands. Like turning water to wine.
Yeah. Fish into loaves, whatever, the bread. Yeah. Healing leprosy, telling the blind they can see. These were all words and hand waving of the miracles, right? So it's kind of like when you think about that, like we have that ability, or we were maybe on our way to have that ability, right? The Christ consciousness, and it's been stripped from us.
Yeah.
It's disappointing. It's upsetting.
It is very upsetting. And it's a different level of thinking in terms of all right, so what is this really telling us? Like if we are focusing on the metaphorical story of this, that this is more about the crucifixion of energy centers in our body. It aligned with a lot of other theories that's already going around. For example, the things that we eat that, kills our pineal gland, for example.
Oh, true. Yeah.
That has, locks away our abilities to do more things. So I feel like this story also goes along with that.
I can't.
So it's not too far-fetched, right?
No, I don't think so. Especially too when you're looking at it from, I guess if we look at the standpoint number 33 of when Jesus died, right? The significance of that number, from a theology point of view, from mythology, from spirituality, no matter what standpoint of view you're looking at it from, it's a very significant number. 33 is a mastermind number. And that number itself is, the number of creativity. Okay, it's the number of service. It's the number of spirituality. It's the number of humanitarianism, which is what Jesus was sent here to do, right? What helping others, providing that safe space for them and creating and doing miracles.
Yeah.
So that number itself is just like the huge mastermind number of service and humanitarianism. It makes you think, because it's kind of like, okay, well, why that age, right? Was he gonna go change life forever as we know it? Like,
there were many significant metaphorical things that are going to be found in the Bible. 33 being one of them. the 40 days and 40 nights that you know he's fasting, like and even the miracles that he performed, like turning water to wine. There are many different things that happened that we could say, okay, this literally happened, or this is a metaphor for something else. And I feel like even questioning that, it's definitely brave, and I do applaud people who dare to question, you know, what they're used to hearing all the time, because I feel like that's how you create new brain waves, you know, new pathways in your brain to solve certain problems or discover things, or even discovering more of who we are as people. Yeah. Because there's too much that we don't know about ourselves. Exactly. And just believing the old stories that our parents told us, or, you know, that's, you know, written in some books. Yeah, some bedtime stories. Some book deemed holy. It's just, it's good to question sometimes. Yeah, exactly. So what do you guys think about this concept, this idea? Is it something that you're willing to entertain, to do your own research on and dive in? Because it is interesting, right? And it gives you something else, like you were saying, to think about. You know, it's funny because there are some things in the Bible that already scares people from being too open-minded. Yeah. You know, so, beware of the false disciples. Oh, Lord, here they come, right? Like, I think, you know, we should be past that point, guys. Yeah. Like, it's not about being false disciples. And even if you, like, hear somebody out who has an opposition, you know, an opinion, just you listening does not mean you've been convinced, and now you need to be received. To, like, just honestly, no, I love that you said that, because it's like some people feel like they just can't even listen to another person's idea without thinking, oh my gosh, I'm doomed to go to hell. Like, relax. You can very much listen to another person's opinion, idea, and if it still does not resonate with you, then that's fine. You go about your way. Yeah. But the whole idea of that I can't even listen to is just ridiculous. Come on, y'all. Like, yeah. Let's not be afraid to learn, explore, and really get to know the unknown, for real, for real. Okay, so did you learn something new today? Because we know we definitely did. Go ahead, drop it in the comments if you did. Or any ideas, your own opinion about this whole concept. Like, what do you think about it? We'd love to know, right? Are you more literal, or are you more metaphorical? Yeah. And what are some of the stories you've heard about what these stories really meant in the Bible? Yeah, exactly. Well, as you already know, we're here every single week, y'all, okay? So go ahead and like and subscribe if you have not done so already. Hit the bell for notification, and guess what, y'all? We'll see you next week. Bye.